Vilitch is great fun. I think Vilitch is one of my favourite Tzeentch characters because, unlike a lot of Tzeentch characters who just by their nature are kind of inscrutable, you don't know what their motives are, they're doing, who knows why they do what they do. Vilitch is very, very human in a lot of ways, despite being like a weird parasite thing. Is this underdog character who basically has decided that he never wants to be underdog ever again. And whatever it takes to stay on top, he's going to do it. And that leads into some kind of really fun gameplay where we've really built into this idea that you are happy to sacrifice anything and everything if it means that you get to be the top dog. Actually, when he loses his own troops in battle, he'll still get some extra souls for that because, you know, he doesn't mind just stealing some extra souls from his own troops after they've died. It's cheaper for him to borrow his allied armies as well. So you can do these fun combos where you like rent out your allied army, suicide them into a battle they can't win, and then kind of harvest their souls for your benefit. So it's very much about kind of pulling these kind of tricksy shenanigans and basically screwing over everyone else as much as possible.
Vilitch was an interesting one. He's technically two characters. Vilitch is a parasite that lives on the back of his brother. His brother is a tool, and he uses brute force more than anything. He's a mindless puppet. To show the strength, we made a wide arc with his weapon. At the same time, we tried to show that Vilitch was still the one in control. His brother, Vilitch's brother, is still here, and Vilitch made sure that his brother know who is in control at least once every day.
Vilitch was done by my good friend Uso Tolinen. I love the way Tzeentch sounds. Like it's really cool, mystical. Unlike Slaanesh, where we try to keep things very organic, I think Tzeentch we really push it to not be. We always want Tzeentch to sound weird and a bit off. Where Vilitch is really interesting is he's a melee character, which normally isn't a Tzeentch thing. His sound design reflects that. It's a lot more harsh than we'd maybe normally do Tzeentch. Where Tzeentch is normally quite mystical, blasty. This is a very punchy, to the point, big and metallic. And I also want to take this moment to shout out the dialogue team who did all these characters, and they did a phenomenal job of all four. And that's Daniel Sterling and Stephen Thomas that handled all the dialogue for this DLC. They collaborated quite heavily with Uso to do Tommen of the Vilitch dynamic. It's actually the voice of Uso.
Silence, fool!
Yeah, and they just went back and forward, and it's now part of their dynamic. You've got the Vilitch with a very good voice actor talking, doing his thing, and then it's Tommen just giving Uso's grunts back to him. And that always makes me happy to hear my friend in the game every time I play it.
So Vilitch is this kind of steamroller character. He's a character that plays into the two halves of the twin that is Vilitch the Curseling. So he's got this ability which is called the Twisted Twin, which is a buff to his melee attack, melee defense, and spell mastery. The effects of this buff scale up as he spends longer in melee, and also longer casting spells. So get a load of spells off, get your blue fire, get your pink fire off, spam those spells and kind of bring up his power as you kind of work your way towards getting into melee.
Something that Uso really pioneered is he wanted a new heavy plate sound because, you know, armor is debatably the most common sound in our game. And he just wanted something new, a bit chunkier, a bit beefier, and it was part with Vilitch. And all it was Uso recorded his own house keys in some metal armor we have around the studio, and he was just playing with the metal straps of it, pitched it right down. And when you play the game, if you're playing as any of the new Warriors of Chaos or Vilitch himself, normally if they were in this big heavy plate, it's really Uso's house keys.